The New York Times actively vouched for the veracity of its false narrative.
We actually want all evidence to come out that's proper and appropriate evidence.
So everything is falling down for you guys because people perceive you as bullies.
Blake Lively's lawyer walked away from the case, unable to handle the growing humiliation, especially after Justin Baldoni's attorney presented such devastating evidence that it completely shook Blake's defense and forced her team to reconsider every move they had made.
We actually want all evidence to come out that's proper and appropriate evidence.
One moment, Blake is acting like the victim, and the next, her own defense is abandoning her faster than a sinking ship. Because let's be real, when even your lawyer decides they've had enough, that's the clearest sign the game is over.
I have to be a full-blown, I am sorry, I lied, I am a terrible person, tail in between the legs, and that's what we deserve.
Imagine filing the most outrageous lawsuit of your life, throwing out wild accusations, painting yourself as the ultimate victim, and using the media to play damsel in distress, only for your own lawyer to tap out. That's exactly what happened when Blake's attorney, Merle Conan, quit after Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, unleashed such a brutal opposition that not even the strongest PR spin could fix it. And honestly, who can blame Conan? Blake's case was already sinking like the Titanic, and he wasn't about to go down with the wreck.
I've had her down to a prototype and said, I'm going to pump the brakes and see what happens. And then when Brian Friedman came back with the facts, they were just undeniable. It was undeniable.
And here's the real kicker. The chaos hit a whole new level when Baldoni's team casually dropped 170 pages of cold, hard receipts. Not just a couple of texts or a messy he said, she said, but a full stack of emails, messages, and documented facts that completely dismantled every claim Blake had tried to make.
Then they publish 170 pages of perfectly documented texts and emails between all the parties that basically show Blake to be the aggressor.
Every single claim she made was obliterated, ripped apart piece by piece until nothing was left. And the sight of her team scrambling to pick up the pieces after that was absolutely priceless.
That's the whole point of a lawsuit, is you just start with allegations, and allegations are not evidence. They're just statements of fact that help establish this is the claim that I'm bringing.
Now Blake's PR team looks like they're on life support. You can practically hear the panic echoing through their offices. The same crew that once fed the media polished headlines to paint her as Hollywood's ultimate victim is now scrambling, and it's clear they're losing control faster than ever.
You guys were complicit here. You guys were involved in this every step of the way.
The puff pieces stopped the moment the truth started leaking. Mainstream outlets went radio silent. Hollywood insiders are quietly warning her she's finished. And watching Blake spiral with no one rushing in to rescue her is brutal. The glossy protection she once had evaporated overnight.
It was monstrous what she did, and she's got to pay for it.
Live birth porn.
Blake is staring down $650 million worth of lawsuits hanging over her like a wrecking ball. And the funniest part is that even her own team has finally admitted she has absolutely no chance of winning.
Most people cannot afford, even if he was worth a certain amount, cannot afford $100 million. And then when you attach penalties and you add interest and all of these things, it is a nightmare. An absolute nightmare.
Which brings us back to Merle Conan, the lawyer who probably woke up one morning, looked at the disaster in front of her, and thought, yeah, I'm not tanking my career over this circus. And honestly, who could blame her? From day one, this lawsuit wasn't built on facts. It was built on nothing more than smoke and mirrors.
I knew a bit about her. I knew how she grew up. I knew that she kind of was one of these people. What tends to be the case is that when you grow up with everything, you create things out of nothing because you're looking for struggle in your life and you're used to getting whatever it is that you...
No credible proof of harassment. No documents backing body-shaming claims. Not even a single receipt about the supposed breastfeeding issues. Just loud, dramatic accusations with nothing real to support them. It's like Blake ripped a storyline straight out of her Gossip Girl days and forgot that in real life you actually need evidence. Brian Friedman didn't just file an opposition, he buried her entire case under a mountain of hard legal facts, exposing how Blake's team wasn't leaning on proof at all, but on PR spin, media headlines, and a desperate sob story.
I looked through every document. Every email, every text message.
And when the other side came swinging with undeniable facts, Blake's lawyer saw the writing on the wall. Quitting was the only way to save herself before going down with the wreck. But here's the real juicy part. Blake's PR team actually thought they could pull off the ultimate magic trick.
This filing is pure comedy and insanity. It literally contradicts itself, and it's not even admissible because of certain things that are in there.
Remember that infamous December 2024 New York Times article? Yeah, Blake's PR team pushed the piece like their entire careers were on the line, using it to cast Baldwin as the villain while she played Hollywood's favorite victim card. But fast forward, and that strategy aged like milk. Baldwin's team ripped the whole narrative apart, proving the media had been spoon-fed Blake's version without bothering to fact-check a single thing.
And it really was quite horrific because you just go, what kind of a monster even goes through with this CRD filing? Like, they're basically bullying him again in the law.
Now the very PR team that once thought they had the upper hand is trapped in full-blown panic mode. And if you thought they were just spin doctors working behind the scenes, think again. Because Blake's image maker, PR manager Lizzie Sloan, has actually been named in Baldwin's massive $400 million lawsuit.
So Justin Baldoni is suing him, Blake Lively, and their PR person, Leslie Sloan, for $400 million.
The very team Blake hired to protect her image has now turned into a legal liability. Seriously, how badly do you have to fumble for your PR crew to end up dragged into the lawsuit too? And it only gets worse. With Discovery in full swing, their dirty laundry is hanging by a thread. Confidential texts, shady backroom deals, and all those carefully scripted media campaigns are just waiting to be exposed. Baldwin's team isn't pulling punches anymore. They're dropping receipts left and right, and the harder Blake's camp tries to contain the fallout, the bigger the explosion gets.
So she's a narcissist, like an actual diagnosed narcissist.
What's hilarious is how Blake's team wasted all their energy trying to control the media narrative, acting like they were untouchable. But here's the truth. Courts don't care about PR spins. They care about cold, hard evidence. And Blake's got none. Her lawyer knows it. Her PR team knows it. Hollywood knows it. And the public definitely knows it. Now all that's left is Blake standing there, watching every piece of her fabricated story crumble right in front of her.
I don't believe Blake Lively is that, but again, you can clearly see, in my opinion, the narcissism at bare minimum that's going on.
And can we just take a moment to acknowledge how literally everyone is trying to knock some sense into Blake? Her lawyer bailed. The media's gone silent. Insiders are whispering that she's finished. And even her PR team looks like they're ready to throw in the towel and change careers. But Blake? She's still out here acting like she's got a real shot. At this point, the only person who believes Blake can win is Blake herself.
Yeah, and again, at the same time, Nathan assembled a team that could dominate social media through full social account takedowns by starting threads of theories and...
Hold that thought.
Here we go. Generally working to change the narrative. So it's impossible to know how much they planted and how much of it originated organically. Well, wait.
She's clinging to this lawsuit like it's her last power move, when in reality, it's just the anchor pulling her straight down. Hollywood has no patience for someone who tried to game the system, got exposed, and is now scrambling to play the victim after the whole scheme blew up in her face.
Know where this money is. This isn't like who has the cash for this type of lawsuit.
And let's not forget, this train wreck didn't unfold overnight. It was months in the making. Blake's team spent endless time manipulating the media, pulling desperate PR stunts, and leaning on terrible legal strategy. But the moment Brian Friedman dropped the receipts, the entire house of cards came crashing down.
Every uncomfortable moment we felt well, now they could do the same thing. You know, but
Right.
Brian Friedman could say, here, exactly. Okay, you want to do a settlement? Here it is. We're going to write, you are sick people who tried to take over my movie and crush a little peanut like me just because I'm a man bun wearing, soft, beautiful soul.
Blake Lively really thought she had the media wrapped around her perfectly manicured finger. And for a moment, it actually worked. That flashy New York Times piece titled "We Can Bury Anyone" had her floating, convinced she was untouchable, as it practically worshipped her and treated every wild accusation against Justin Baldoni like gospel truth. But too bad for Blake, that fairy tale collapsed just as fast as it started.
Outraged, essentially, over us bullying you. That doesn't make you look good on paper. It doesn't make you look good in the court of public opinion. It makes you look like what you actually are, which are a bunch of bullies who think can get away with everything.
Because Brian Friedman didn't come to play. His legal response didn't just poke holes in that New York Times article, it shredded it completely. He straight up accused the Times of violating fair report privilege, which basically means they stopped reporting and started promoting Blake's fake story. Instead of writing Blake Lively alleges XYZ, they packaged it like they'd done serious investigative work confirming her nonsense. The problem? They had zero proof. Friedman called them out for dressing up Blake's lies as facts. And honestly, that's pure poetic justice.
To replace what his name is, Brian Tyler, the composer on the movie. Well, Taylor Swift is not going to give you this unless we get what we want. She wants this credit. She wants this credit. She wants